Hey, everybody, welcome back to WorkTech. I'm George LaRocque, and we've got some more industry funding news. Hey, payroll is cool again. You've heard me say it before, and I'm going to say it again today because we just had a big $58 million round of funding go to CloudPay, global payroll provider. That brings a total up to 175.5 million raised to date. And we're joined by their CEO, Paul Bartlett. And we're going to talk about the deal. Paul, welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate being here.
Well, you know, I'm just going to dig right in because, these happen and everybody's curious. But before we talk about the deal, can you tell everyone about CloudPay and about yourself and where CloudPay fits into the WorkTech ecosystem?
Sure. So traditionally, we've been a global payroll provider focused on the enterprise space. So we only sell to multinationals. That was our history. We then introduced global treasury services, which is really managing the payments and funds flow around the world into the 130 countries we provide payroll in. And we've just launched this earned wage access or on-demand pay product, which is our newest announcement, which gets us into a new market as well.
Okay. And so global payroll, that might be the hottest part. Like if payroll's cool again, that might be the coolest part. There's a lot of complexity to address there. And payroll itself, there are a few different ways to go at it. What's your model? Is there service bureau or tech, or how do you approach the problem?
Correct. Well, we started life out as a service bureau, predominantly providing services. And over the last many years, we've been introducing more and more technology. And so now I would say we are a technology company with a service component to it. Automating the global payroll process on a cloud-based platform. And then introducing technologies to automate the treasury service and to integrate with partners, because a lot of what we have to do in a global solution is to integrate with partners. And now this earned wage access product is almost 100% a technology solution with the connected to the other infrastructure we have.
Okay. And when I think of global payroll, we were chatting before we started recording here. I think complexity, right? Compliance, tax compliance. It's so many issues at so many levels. Is that something that your firm addresses?
100%. So our enterprise multinational customer, they have all this complexity, right? They have employees in lots of jurisdictions and sometimes multiple legal entities within each country. They have to move money around the globe. And it involves all of this confidential, secure PII data. We have the most secure, most private data is what we manage. And so we're very much involved in that end-to-end security and compliance infrastructure. And as you say, dealing with the joys and wonders of the complexity of every tax regime in every country and the banking regulatory environment, the AML and KYC requirements around the globe as well. So yes, we have to provide a both secure and compliant infrastructure. And there's a lot of them. I mean, GDPR in Europe, there's ones OSPARs in APAC, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a lot of conflicting complexity that we deal with in our platform. And we're trying to use the platform and cloud technologies to both automate and make much more efficient this complexity, as opposed to just throwing bodies at the problem. That's an antiquated or an old line view of a legacy view of how to provide these solutions.
Right. And so you mentioned the new market with the earned wage access. Is that where the financial wellness comes into play? That was in the release you put out. That was one of the highlights. Is that what you're talking about?
Absolutely. So earned wage access or on demand is really about providing employers the opportunity to provide their employees a benefit, which is to give them access to the compensation they've already earned, but it's within a pay cycle. And it's a time when employees can make decisions about how to use their compensation. And it's in that inline decision-making process and an application, because it's a mobile app that an employee downloads on their phone. we can provide financial literacy kinds of content, both from third parties, and employers can deliver them about their pension or 401k plans or other kinds of things. We can provide them data about credit card debt and what that means, and a variety of content while they're in the decision-making cycle and process, as opposed to it being something they have to go to, later on. And things like global remittances and scheduling payments is all can be handled within this earned wage access mobile app.
Yeah, and that's I think in the US, people take for granted, standard pay cycles. In a lot of the world, you're getting paid monthly, and depending on what your wages are, that can be a long time to wait for access to your funds. And
Most countries, actually, the stand is more typical globally to have a monthly pay cycle.
Mhm.
And during the pandemic, which is affecting these issues a lot, there was a significant amount of stress put on employees. There was a lot of dislocation. There were a lot of issues that employees had to deal with. And so providing them with an ability to deal with the timing of their payments in the US became a very important competitive element for employers to provide, in addition to provide them with, as I say, content in line while they're dealing with these kinds of pressures.
Right.
Secondly, Americans may not know this as well, but there are countries now who are starting to legislate you have to give employees access to their accrued wages if they request. Now, it's a very manual, difficult process, but that's becoming more typical around the globe. So the pressure is building. We have the only platform in the world that can deliver this on a global basis. We do everything globally. We don't think of anything on a country-specific basis. So this is a global wellness issue that the pandemic has exacerbated, putting pressure on people and therefore on their employers to both provide them with the security and benefits of getting access to this money, but also competing for them. People want benefits, and this is one of them. It's a very highly desired benefit. When you ask people who are aware of these, they look at this as a very high value benefit.
Yeah, and it is a global problem. I mean, even in the US, where you might have it could be weekly or biweekly pay cycle if you're depending on your wage. I mean, I've seen some studies about the stress at the end of that. And on a monthly cycle, if you're coming in before, after the cutoff, you could actually be waiting more than a month before if you don't have access to funds. So it is a real benefit. And then you bring in wellness and content and guidance. That's something really interesting to offer.
If you just look at the global use of credit cards and the number of people who carry balances, even high wage earners, almost particularly high wage earners, it's a global practice of carrying credit card balances. It's not just the sort of a payday loan kind of issue. It's credit card balance. Well, credit card balances are very expensive, and they produce stress, particularly if you suddenly have an emergency. And so employers are more and more cognizant of that. And so we listened to that, and the way we were going to help them deal with that was through this earned wage access product. It's a meaningful product.
Yeah. So that all that's all good work, and I think that it's very timely from a benefits perspective. So what drove the timing of the deal? Getting into the specifics, was it your growth or market conditions, or what was the timing here?
So there were several forces. The first one was the global pandemic. I think actually has accelerated the demand for a global pay platform, because it's exacerbated both that this is a critical solution to customers. They got to be able to pay people, and everyone was worried about that when the pandemic hit. We didn't miss a beat. Secondly, they're recruiting much more globally. We're seeing that across the board in our customer base. So smaller companies are becoming multinationals much more quickly. So we've been growing and exceeding our plans and our budgets substantially from a bookings perspective. That was one. And two, we saw the evolution of the US only pay on-demand pay providers. And so we jumped in to provide a global solution. And that is such a massive opportunity. And we have a leg up on everybody because we have this customer base. We have a global platform for payroll that has all the data. And we have this network of funds providers around the globe. So we want to take advantage of both our core business growth as well as these new products in the earned wage access. So it was timely just based on the opportunities and the success we've been experiencing to date.
Yeah. I think in the release, was it like 50% growth? Am I getting that right? Or
Correct. We've been
okay.
seeing, we've been exceeding our plans on a regular basis for the past several years, but we've been exceeding them at an accelerating rate, which is exciting, and made us realize we have an opportunity to capture in this space, particularly by innovating using technology. You know, the basic payroll and treasury service industry is pretty legacy oriented. And so we've been wanting to drive the innovation in that space, and these funds will allow us to do that. And there's a significant amount of go-to-market opportunity for us. You know,
Yep.
we deal in ecosystems. So on the HCM side, we deal with Workday. They are a very important provider to us, and others, SuccessFactors and UKG. We deal with we need to deal more with the credit card infrastructure, the Visa rails and other payments providers around the globe, Equinity and others. And this earned wage access product compels us to go build relationships in the benefits and total reward space, because that's, you know, this is a benefit and a reward that employers are going to sponsor, and we need to go build those relationships and build those ecosystems. So we're going to invest in the platform. We're going to invest in our partners and our the various ecosystems we operate in around the globe to accelerate our growth.
Yeah. So those are your the plans for the funding. That sounds great. How will this impact the business internally? You know, a lot of times the focus on these deals is what's going to happen externally. What's the impact for the team and the business?
Well, when you're scaling globally, you've got to continue to invest in infrastructure in order to meet the global complexity. So, you know, we've all been chomping at the bit to invest more heavily in our internal systems and processes to handle these opportunities. So, you know, we're going to be able to accelerate the development of our platform.
Yep.
And, you know, we've just got a lot of dreams, and, you know, people don't really connect payroll and dreaming, but we do. We see a lot of opportunity, and the internal organizations are really excited to be able to invest more rapidly in the solutions we know we're very capable of delivering. So there's just a lot of opportunity within our platform, and then just expanding the footprint of people. You know, we have to operate globally. So we operate in 25 or 30 countries. We have people, and that is really important. And we too have to manage our own talent. So we are investing in systems and processes and activities to manage our global infrastructure of people. You know, we are just like our customers. We are under the same challenges from work from home, competing for global talent. So it gives us an opportunity to do a better job at that internally, which we're all very excited about.
Yeah. But you've already got the cloud-based payroll system. That's global.
We have
right?
some of the infrastructure in hand, but we too are learning as we go, because it's a big world out there. That's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, congrats on the raise and being a part of making payroll cool again. It's, you know, I mean it HR tech didn't exist before payroll. There was no such thing as WorkTech or HR tech. So it's good to see a lot of the innovation and funding going into this category. And it was a pleasure to discuss this with you. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you very much. I really have enjoyed it. Appreciate it.
Terrific. And where can folks learn more if they want to learn more about the product?
Well, thank you. Cloudpay.com/now, NOW.
Okay, perfect. Thanks again. And thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks very much.